Hey guys, so today you've been journeying with me. My words got a little bumbled there. You've been journeying with me through this I don't want to say difficult day, but a day that I had to fight through to be productive and get things done. And we've walked through my processing of it with the YouTube videos. That wasn't even a day. That was 3 days ago. So I guess today began, this journey began a couple of days back. Today I was open about having a hard time getting things done. And we've gone to the grocery store. We've cooked. We've worked on art, aka did homework. And we even went on to have some girl time. And come in. I want to welcome my friend Olivia.
Hello.
Do you want to tell us something about yourself?
So my name is Olivia Winston. I am the host of Good Day with Olivia.
She the host with the mostest?
Yes, on the KAZ Radio and Television Network, always serving up the good news to you, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. And I'm here spending some time with my good friend, BB.
Absolutely. So I just want to let them know, I want you guys to get a feel for who I am, who I really am. And what better way to do it than to just give you glimpses of my day-to-day life. So I want to tell them a little bit about what we talked about, just the stuff you feel comfortable with.
Go ahead.
Do you think that it's fair to say we had a primarily spiritually focused, meaning we talked about regular things but through a spiritual lens conversation?
Yes, I'd agree with that.
Absolutely. So what were some of the takeaways you feel like you had? You want me to come to you? Go in and let you go?
No, I want to think about that. You threw the question out to me.
Guess who's interviewing who?
Right, this is a switch.
A flip.
So, a lot of what we talked about was really confirmation for myself. Things I've already assessed and just didn't have a chance to really verbalize, accepting people for who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about accepting people with their challenges, or then making the decision to not be bothered with them if we feel that we can't have a functional relationship with them, or they just don't add any value in our lives, or cause us to experience some kind of, I don't know, destruction, or we become destructive.
Yeah, suffering in that relationship.
Yeah.
Any other takeaways?
Yeah. we talked a lot about being okay talking about our visions and being confident in our visions, even if we have nothing to show for our vision, because it's just the vision. But talking about those things and having faith that they will manifest.
Absolutely.
We also talked about not opening up doors that God has clearly shut, and He has allowed us an opportunity to keep it moving, but we just keep on knocking on this specific door for whatever reason. But then forgiving ourselves and then
keeping it going,
and then realizing if the door don't open and God gave us the cue to keep it pushing, when whatever that thing is comes back knocking on our door, we don't have to answer it.
Yes. So what Olivia is talking about, I'm going to give you, so if those are her major takeaways, I'm going to give you guys mine, and then I'm going to tell you the specific things an overview, tips for you in regards to accepting people for who they are, which in a prior video, if I show that to you all, because it's kind of yucky, it's a long processing video, I share my journey and coming into that and my struggles with that. Also, accepting people for who they are, letting doors close and being comfortable with sharing your vision, your journey, your purpose, your goal with others, and believing that it will manifest even if you're not actively walking within it yet. So one of my major takeaways that Olivia blessed me with is we've had prior conversations about this whole idea of not letting people disappoint you, and understanding that humans are flawed. So me, typically when I'm wronged by someone or hurt by someone, my suffering is enhanced by the fact that I'm taken back by the fact that it even happened. Right? Whereas Olivia has this way of, people can do her wrong and she might feel it, but it's just like, it's human nature. And she can release it just that fast. Whereas me, it soaks into me. I go through the heartbreak, the devastation of it all. And she has like this defensive layer of like, yeah, what the situation did hurt, but it's how people are, and it's not mine to carry. She knows that on the forefront of the situation, and she tried to, that was like maybe last winter when we talked about this, because we were still going to Planet Fitness. So we talked about this last winter, and I did not understand what she was talking about. Like, how can you just not let people get to you? But tonight it really settled in what she meant about, she just doesn't allow people to disappoint her. And that helps me as I walk into this phase of accepting people for who they are, and meeting them with explicit expectations, even if it's just an internal dialogue of like, okay, this is who Susan is, this is how she operates. Don't expect anything more than that. Don't expect her to respect you the way you respect her, or the way you would respect another person. Expect Susan to be Susan. Don't be disappointed by the way she treats you. Is that fair?
Yeah, because then her dysfunction would become your problem.
Right. And that is something that I carry a lot of other folks' stuff in the past, and we're moving on from that season. I can love you. I can love you for who you are and accept you for who you are, but who you are determines your role in my life.
Yes.
Right?
I like that. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that. So I'm gonna hold myself to upload snippets of my journey to accepting people for who they are video, because now it definitely ties into today. And I know it's so, every time I'm like externally processing on camera, the 2.5-4 hours it takes to upload the video, y'all, I be going through it. And then when people get to liking and commenting and feeling it, I'm like, okay, God, it was worth it. All right. Thank you. I did it. Thank you for the courage. But it is just this uncomfortable, like, whatever. Anyway, so I've come to this place of like realizing that I meet people at who they want to be, not who they necessarily are. And that dictates the way I navigate the relationship, because I pretty much coach my loved ones. Instead of accepting them and just being their sister, their friend, whatever, I'm trying to be their coach, because I take on the responsibility of helping them reach that goal. And this is without any explicit agreement that that's my role, that that's our relationship. And so that has led to a lot of suffering, a lot of sabotage relationships, me acting out of hate instead of love, me hurting more than doing well, and vice versa, because who wants their best friend to put information in their face that they're not ready to see or deal with or confront, instead of just being a best friend and hanging out? No one. Obviously that needs to change, but it just hit me at the age of 25, 26 in like 2 days, Wednesday, Sunday, whatever.
You got it now.
Yeah, I got it now, and I'm gonna work at it. So that's where we got to accepting people for who they are. So these are the tips that tie into accepting people for who they are. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Believe them. Now you have the empowerment. You're empowered to make some decisions. So you can decide, okay, I accept Susan for cussing me out or being snappy or being a cheater, whatever. Whatever Susan is, I accept her as that. You could also choose to start to release Susan and pull back from that relationship. That can manifest in a lot of ways. That can manifest with you letting Susan know, hey, I'm letting you go. That can manifest is like you just talk to her a little less, you spend a little less time with her, you share a little less of your heart or your story with her, and eventually it'll fall off like the seasons when they pass. Or the third option is to go ahead and have a conversation with Susan. Say, hey, when you're really snobby with me, when you're really nasty with me, it makes me feel blank. In the future, can you try to do this? And then Susan can say, no, I'm never snobby with you. Mm-hmm. Or she can say, hey, I didn't realize it made you feel that way, or I know I do that, it's just hard. And she'll try to work at it. And so in the future, if Susan's snobby with you, you can choose to hold her accountable. She has to take accountability because she's made an agreement. Right?
She's made that agreement.
Right. She made that agreement when she said, I'll work at it. And if you don't see any progress, again, you can choose to release or accept.
Something else that we talked about that I have fully taken away is understanding getting a bigger definition of loneliness. And understanding what that really looks like.
I got excited saying that. So a lot of times when Olivia and I have conversations, we'll...
That was me.
It's not saying who it is. You see this? Oh.
Who is that?
We're not gonna answer. Ooh, I told you. Yes. Oh, Fred. I told you. Listen, ladies. When God has revealed to you that you need to release a young man from your life, and we all have our moments of weakness of like, oh, she and I wanted to hang out with some people. We didn't necessarily want to go out or be at the bar. And so a gentleman that I really liked, but I know he not a fit. God's revealed that to me. I've been gradually releasing him like you would do your Susan. I called her so we could kick it because I knew we could kick it. And he didn't answer, which was great because that left us sitting still making this video. And he just called. And I told Olivia, I said, okay, so what about the consequences, you know? She was like, I mean, you just have to keep it, what do you say, keep it at a distance or keep it?
I said keep it in the community.
Keep it in the community today. And I'm like, well, what about tomorrow? She's like, oh, well, tomorrow you on your own. Tomorrow just came.
Thankfully I was here.
Right. So we go work on this after this video because this is exactly what I'm talking about is when God allows you to release something, even in your moments of weakness, when you reopen that door, you have reopened that door and there's another person's feelings as well as my own. So now we have to restart this process of release and healing, which would be hard because I'm probably going to talk to this man for the next 2 weeks. Sis,
they got block options.
I don't want to block him because he's great. He's just not for me.
Right, I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
That's okay though, because there are plenty of great guys out there. Just because they might not be a great fit for you, they can still be a great guy.
A great man in general.
Every great guy ain't your guy.
Because you have one king.
Right.
Well, you know what? I really don't know that. I like to imagine I have one king. But, you know, I try not to be too black and white because I'm still learning so much on this journey, y'all.
You're going to experience one king at a time.
Yes, you. Well, even with that, you know what I'm saying? But that's none of my business. Me personally, I just want one. I just need one. Just God, meet me at the expectation of one. Dang, where were we at before the phone call?
You said
we were talking about.
You said
acceptance.
He's a great guy, keeping them.
No, before he called, we was talking about like the 3 takeaways, acceptance,
loneliness,
which led to loneliness. Don't know how far we got within loneliness. I was explaining that she and I get hung up on vocabulary. I'll say a word like loneliness and her image is very different from my definition and image. And so today I actually talked about that. Like, sometimes I'll say a word and I think you see it a different way for me. And she said to her loneliness, you want to just tell them?
Yeah, loneliness to me, when I think of someone who's lonely, I think of someone who is like lonely within themselves, empty. They don't know who they are. So it's like a neediness. Like they need something to fulfill what they don't connect within themselves. That's a lonely place to be for me, at least.
Right. And so what I said was that's a form of loneliness. That's like an extreme end of loneliness when you're to the point of you're clingy and you need people in order to be okay. That's an extreme. But we are whole beings, body, mind, and spirit. And so there might be times where your true self needs to intellectually connect with someone that gets her. And so if you're with people that are not on that same level of vibration, though they might be good to you and love you, you might feel lonely. She will feel lonely because she's not getting an attention. She's not getting an exchange of energy. You have your physical body who might need touch and companionship and protection sometimes, or even the, stuff.
Yes.
The stuff. So that's another form of loneliness. And then you have like your more spiritual, emotional parts that can get lonely. If you're ever around a very detached person and you're very more so sensitive and on the feelings, you will feel very lonely. You will feel very lonely because they can't give you that flow.
Right.
So I was just explaining to her that it's okay to be lonely, y'all. It's okay. It's a part of human nature. Humans are social beings. I use the analogy of the wolves, right? Wolves don't be together in the pack and be like, hey, you too clingy today.
Bruh.
Yeah. But you're lonely, yeah. No, because they know like that's the culture of being a wolf, like they're pack animals. They're very social, like they need each other. It's just a part of their system. But as humans, we get discombobulated and, caught up on, I don't want to be the lonely girl. But like everybody is a lonely girl sometimes, and it's just know yourself well enough to know what parts of you are lonely and try to get that need met in the healthiest way possible. If you're emotionally lonely, my thing is I went through that a lot and I still do. And so I would want to go back to my ex because I love this man and he is the deepest love I have ever experienced so far. And so that would lead to me relapsing into that relationship in some ways. Whereas now I know that I need to talk to somebody that I have that type of connection with that's healthier for me, which is typically my older sister. And it's safe. And it doesn't lead to me going through 6 months of stuff.
Right.
Right? Because that's what we do. We pick the wrong option and then we deal with the consequences for extended periods of time because we didn't close that door.
Ooh, that's so great that you guys have that relationship.
Yeah.
Where y'all can talk to each other like that because that's awesome.
I have all different types of relationships and like now that I know the different parts of me that can speak to that. For example, I will say that the kings in my life do feel some of the needs to have like protection and masculine energy in a male perspective that I hope for at some point my husband will feel, but it's platonic, it's healthy. There's boundaries in place so that it can't be miscued, so that I'm not being taken advantage of and they're not being extorted, because now we're trying to add in physical activity or fake relationship stuff when it just don't fit. Again, they're great men, but they're not my king. So it's cool to have different people that speak to different parts of you, but you have to know what you need first. So you have to spend the time getting to know thyself. So you won't just think, oh, I'm lonely. Oh, I just want to talk to my ex. Oh, I just want to be with this guy who's not good for me. You'll know fundamentally, I just really want somebody that's witty, that sparks my brain a little bit. That's what sapiosexual people like a lot. It's intellectual stimulation. You'll know that. And so hit up that friend that's like witty and cool. Or know that that's what you want to attract and connect with. And it's not necessarily you looking for a boyfriend. Right?
Sometimes we mistake what we want in like those kind of interactions. Sometimes we think, oh, we want a relationship. Like we confuse the two where we actually just need some kind of stimulating or uplifting conversation with someone, or like, I don't know, your male counterparts, maybe you need some I don't know, some insight they could provide, and you think, oh, I need a boyfriend because I need this kind of interaction, where you can have that interaction and it can be platonic.
You know why? It's because and I'm gonna talk to you because we did not discuss this yet today.
Okay.
You have to mature into identifying what kinds of ways you're being stimulated, if that makes sense, right? So if I walk and I have this organic and energetic kind of explosive conversation with somebody, and I'm getting butterflies and I'm smiling, I'm really enjoying it, that might just be me connecting with the soulmate. Right? And me being unaware of that, being relatively immature in my energy, I'll be like, this is love. Right. I enjoy this experience so much and I need to hold on to it for dear life, and now this is bae. Right? But if you can understand, like, we give and exchange energy on different levels all the time. Enjoy that moment. Savor it. It might come back around, it might not. But enjoy it and take from it what you will, what you need to at that point in time, and let it be. There is and this isn't exactly like that. I've made this mistake plenty of times, ladies. I have been chasing after men for years on an unconscious and conscious level, because of things like that, because they literally were just meant to be lessons learned, stimulation, just authentic connections. But I needed to make it more. I started to think, oh, I got a crush on you, I like you, I want to be with you. But really it's just like we're just on the same vibration in that moment, and we experience something dope. So it's only, I'm 25 and I just started to come around to that at about 24. And I'm finally practicing it at 25, going on 26. What else did I want to say? I'm
just now accepting that this year.
Right. And we, you know, which is okay because no one taught us that. Nobody taught us about soulmates. You know, I grew up thinking that I had about one soulmate in my life and I was going to meet him and fall in love. And so I was looking for the butterflies and the racing thoughts and, you know what I'm saying, just sparks to fly. Right. And
I think for me growing up, the conversation was, you know, I don't know why it was never articulated like that. I think more so for me growing up was, you know, your parents, they just don't want you to get hung up over the wrong guy. So the conversation was always focused on that, and not, it was focused on not chasing after men, but so much because they're not right for you, they're not fit for you, they're bad for you. And not so much, I've never heard a conversation where we said, oh, you'll meet great men, but they just won't be for you.
So every time you came across a great one, you like, oh, I gotta snatch this one up. Same. I around this time, this is what, we're in summer now. Okay, so spring to summer of last year, I met this very attractive intellectual guy. And we had like this playful energy. It was really fun. However, I began to think I wanted more and I liked him more than I did, just because of that very thing. Because he's great. He's fine. He has his head on his shoulders. He's going somewhere. He has a lot of the same mentalities and processes that I have. And I'm not used to this idea that I can be around all of these exceptional men, but I don't have to have one for myself. That there's a pool full of them, and it's one just for me, just one. Right. So I totally get that.
Or that one coming at you, you don't have to grab him up.
Because he's going to pursue you. He's going to snatch you up. And I don't want to get into the whole gender role things, but ladies, your king is going to be your king.
Can I tell her what you told me?
Go ahead.
Okay. So BB said, so
I don't know what this about to be.
Men, they want to be honored as the king of their household.
I did.
You gotta take on the king role. The king pursues.
Amen.
Your king will pursue you.
As much of a queen as you are, as much as you run stuff, as much as you're the boss lady, your king, if he's in his true natural state of just being a king, is going to come for you.
Because he wants the best for his kingdom, and he wants to be honored as such.
You be listening, friend!
So you gotta put in...
You be listening!
You gotta put in the honorable work. You want to be honored as such? I could be listening.
And this was months ago we had this conversation. So
if he's soaking in, he's soaking in.
Oh, Hercules. That made me so happy, y'all, because I'm really like this all the time. And I'm sure it get on people's nerves because that was a tense conversation that day.
But you know what? Even though I'll go back and forth. Maybe some people be like, get right with you. But I like that. Like, it might tick other people off, but
That's
I
growth.
want you to debate with me so I can see it a new way.
Because we're going to have defenses. Whenever you have an ideology, this has alloy in it. So it's like little grapes.
The pulp.
Yeah, the little pulp. So yeah, whenever you're having an intellectual conversation with somebody and they're teaching you new information, there will be pushback. So that's okay, as long as they're still open to the process. And Olivia, even when she gets flustered and it gets a little tense, is always open to the process. I just walk away and not sure if that was worth it. And that's something that I'm growing into, is knowing what parts of conversation and learning are normal and natural, and what parts are indications that I should stop. And that's, again, me learning how to accept people for who they are. Because not everybody, a lot of the people in my life, they're only open to my authentic feedback and my way of approaching coaching, which has been, up until this point, just the way I approach my relationships, when they feel like it, when they want to work on that stuff. Now, this won't be a problem for my actual clients because I'm learning this stuff on the forefront, and we're going to agree with what you want to work on, and it will not be personal. It will be about your program. It will be for you. Don't get me wrong. We're going to connect, right? You're going to trust me. I'm going to put my trust into you as well. We're going to be partners on this, but my personal stuff, like with my friend, will not ever impact you because I hold my friend to a very different standard, as I should, than my client. But thank you for letting me know that, because I've definitely been dealing with that. That's a part of what led me to this whole accept people for who they are, is that I'm always trying to plant seeds. I'm always trying to teach people like healthier things or help them make these connections.
You're the true broadcaster.
True.
That's what original broadcasters did. They threw out the seed.
I'm the true broadcaster. I actually used the analogy earlier that I put a mirror up to people, both unconsciously and consciously. And that makes folks very uncomfortable, especially if they have a role in my life that can't allow me to teach them anything.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right? Because you got to think about those dynamics. And for me to be baby B coming in at 25 thinking she knows something and making you see things and feel things that you felt uncomfortable with.
Right. That's what we were talking about. That's how we got into the conversation of how it could come off not being humble.
Right. Yep. Right. When I am very, very humble, like God has broken me down on so many levels. Life has broken me down on so many levels that I can't help but to be humble. Mm-hmm. But we all have our different gifts, right? Some people are great athletes. They have strong arms. I use this analogy all the time. My gift is being an empath. My gift is understanding people on a very deep level, is kind of seeing where they at sometimes before them, unfortunately. My gift is this whole mental health thing that I was dabbling in at a child and didn't even notice. But that will make people uncomfortable. I also have a spirit of excellence and a very strong work ethic, and pretty much I give my all to everything that I do. That is another thing that unconsciously makes people uncomfortable. My physical body, I'm a voluptuous, curvy woman. That will make people who want that type of body uncomfortable. But again, that's just a mirror to them. That's a mirror to their own insecurities, to things that they aren't doing, the things that they can't do. Sometimes it's not conscious. Those last couple were not conscious, not intentional. The whole being truthful thing, Sometimes it's unconscious, sometimes it is conscious in my personal relationships. Sometimes I'll talk to Olivia or anybody, a friend, a sister, a brother, and I'll see this thing clear as day. Like, it's literally an elephant in the room. Mm-hmm. And then I'll point it out, and they'll be like, whoa.
That ain't my elephant.
Right. And it ain't in here. Take it out. You seeing stuff, Bianca. I'm so serious. That's exactly how it is. And so that's why I have to embark on this process of learning, well, what does it mean to accept someone for who they are? Now I'm talking to Olivia because we did not discuss this. But I have this difficulty. I'm trying to find a balance of being a hopeful person that sees potential and harvests it, because that's what I'm called to do, but also being human and loving. Right? One is like this service to God, and not everybody that I serve will be my client. Sometimes the people you meant to steward is your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, your best friend, your cousin, a stranger out on the street, right? And I get that, and I'm willing to do that. I've said I'm willing to do that. But on the other hand, I'm human, and I can't have all of this stress in all of my relationships just because someone no longer wants to focus on their higher self for a point in time. But I also can't have the stress of enabling them to do the things that are unhealthy for them. So that's why I have to figure out what is the balance. How do I accept people? When do I need to fall back? When do I need to release them? What people, what tendencies or forms of communication let me know someone is really ready to be held accountable? And how do I accept it?
I think that's the biggest part.
Yeah, really, like, because I really just be moved. Like, if Olivia say, I'm not going to put your dream out there unless you want to.
Go ahead. Speak it.
Yes.
Out of more than one mouth.
Yes. Olivia is going to own her own production company. And prior to me understanding I need to learn how to accept people for who they are, I would think, well, if Olivia wants to own her own production company, she obviously needs to implement said strategies, things that she and I have discussed. So one of those strategies might be, you know what? I'm tired of giving my time to fuck boys. I got to focus more so on my business, heal, grow, do whatever God is pulling me to do so that I can manifest this thing, right? Well, as I see her dealing with the quote-unquote fuck boy, I'm going to call her out. And if she's negative to me, if she's nasty to me, that's going to create distress in our relationship. Mm-hmm. If she says, oh, yeah, it ain't really like that, that's going to cause stress in our relationship. Mm-hmm. If she does anything but pretty much embrace me and continue doing the same thing, distress in our relationship. But meanwhile, Olivia is my good friend. We have these types of conversations. We hang out. I love her, but I'm angry at her. And that anger begins to manifest in different forms of hate and resentment. Resentment.
Well, I think a part of getting through, well, I know a part of getting through that, mm-hmm. and I told you this over the winter time, mm-hmm. is just allowing yourself to, you're going to experience it anyways. Whatever that tension is, you're going to experience it. And allow it to be experienced.
Yeah, just embrace it. Yeah, and that's something I would say too, is go ahead and embrace the feeling. Yep. After embracing the feeling, again, take your notes out for this. Embrace the feeling of the disappointment, the hurt, the frustration. Second, ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Am I carrying something that is not mine? Most likely, yes. Yeah, absolutely. And so you have to understand, how do I get this monkey off my back now? I'm carrying something that's not mine. Olivia didn't ask me to help her become this owner of this broadcasting studio, or you know what I'm saying? Right. She did not ask me for that. So how can I help myself release that responsibility?
Can I chime in now?
Sure.
When we feel like we've given out information and it's not received well or received at all, we feel, we know what we've said is valid, mm-hmm. and valuable, but we feel like someone else has not valued it. Mm-hmm. and they have rejected what we said, and that is the core of being a human, feeling validation.
If they've rejected what you said, what do you feel like they've done?
Mm-hmm. They couldn't make use of my value.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take that and say that when someone rejects an act of love, and that's what that advice was. It was an act of love. It was you trying to serve them and their higher self. You feel rejected, and you feel like they're not loving you back.
Yeah. And it almost makes you feel I'm purposeless. I'm useless.
Right.
What am I here for?
What am I here for? But two things. You're not here to fix anybody.
Right.
So that means that I, Bianca, have to work on my self-esteem a little bit. And understand that just because I'm in a relationship with Olivia, my husband, my business partner, that I'm valuable even if I'm not fixing them. Right? That them not taking my advice is not them saying I don't want you and I don't see what you're worth.
Right.
Because that isn't theirs to carry. That's mine. That's my own issue. And secondly, I have to get to the bottom of why do I feel rejected? There are so many things that I do a day that don't work out.
Right.
But I don't feel rejected by them. And so is there something going on in this relationship where I feel like this person can't see me for who I am? That has commonly been a struggle both folks have with me and I have with other folks, is that when I feel like someone can't fully see me for who I am and I'm trying to build them up and then they put it down, I'm like, this is just yet another reason why you just don't get me. So it's not just that situation. Right. It's Olivia as a whole not being able to explore and embrace me. Right. And even as I'm saying this, I'm really thinking about one person in particular who feels this way about me. That by rejecting their feedback, their advice, that I'm not embracing a part of their identity. And I didn't get it until right now. But I've been there as well. So that's real.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. Because it's like you just trying to be loving. You just trying to help. But again, and I can make a whole nother video about this, you have to begin to learn the difference between loving and helping and trying to fix. Fixing, although you might think is really about that person, it's a lot about you. And it's a lot about being unhealthy. And that can be very hard to wrap your mind around. Versus helping and service and loving, those are the things that you're really called to do. Those are the things that are fruitful. Those are the things that won't be harmful in the end. What you thinking? I see you thinking.
There's a difference between being loving and serving through your love, and then fixing.
Yep.
And it says a lot about you depending on that choice you make.
Right.
And I'm just imagining so many things what it could say. Either loving and service is through God. Fixing is through human nature.
Exactly. And human nature is rooted in self.
Yep. We want to fix it for our reason.
Exact.
So, but when you love regardless. Your love is your service. And that's through God.
Again, going to have to make a whole video about this, because this is like when I learned this concept, I had to do some serious internal work for like a year. Mm-hmm. You know, because it's literally like, no, I'm a caretaker, I'm a caregiver, I'm a sweetheart, I fix things, that's what I do, that's the role I play, and there's nothing wrong with it because I do love this person. Right. Enabler. Toxicity, self-harmer, that's what this is. That's what that fixer beat is. Whereas when you loving and you servicing through God, it's a completely different beast. Mm-hmm. And they are similar but very different. Very different. So I'm so excited that without even diving into that, you just got it.
Yeah. It's something that I think about.
You work at?
A lot. It's just thinking about and not necessarily on a fixing standpoint, but just how I live out everyday life. It's like, am I doing it for my own personal, selfish reasons, or am I being selfless and fulfilling God's will?
Right.
So when you brought up this conversation, it just made sense.
It connected.
Yep.
Because that's something you're already working at.
Yep.
And I think that this is an important process for all people of service, for all people tapping into their purpose to work through. Because most likely, fixers, you already have this natural ability to serve. It's just getting muddy and lost in some other things you got to work through. Some things that you might not even be cognitively aware of, which is okay. Because we're all growing. Being a fixer is the best you have to offer sometimes. Being a fixer is your first like, if you come from a relatively selfish environment,
that's your first move to service.
Yes,
right
it
there.
is.
Yeah.
It is. And so there's nothing wrong with it when it comes to that. But in the long term, it's very unhealthy for you and the others that you impact. Right?
I agree with that.
So we got about 10 more minutes. I don't want to make it too long.
Fixing is not accepting people.
It's not. Fixing is saying that at the fundamental root of it, this thing is broken.
Yep.
And it will not be okay without you.
And that causes more harm, because now the other person will begin to, you're right, it doesn't just affect you, it continues. The other person doesn't feel valued. And then here we go with this cycle again.
Right. And to what I'll add to that is they not only don't feel valued, but they're not being taught ways to sustain themselves.
Right.
So imagine if you're a car and you need this missing part. And so instead of growing this part, because cars can't grow stuff, someone puts this part in you, but they temporarily place it there. So you can run with this part, but then it gets ripped out and then you can't run. That's what happens when you fix people. Yeah. One more point of what we talked about, because we did go into acceptance. We went into loneliness. We did talk about closing the door a little bit since Guy called. And it was a fourth thing from the original set that I can't think of. So we just
it was something I said?
Yeah.
So I said closing doors, accepting people for who they are, and we talked about loneliness. And there was a fourth one that I said.
A takeaway. It's cool. We let it flow organically.
Yeah, we'll have to play that tape back.
Yeah. And I mean, I can make a different video about it at some point. But basically, ladies, or gents, because I have to be open.
Oh, being key. Well, I know I brought up men wanting to be kings, honored as kings in a relationship.
We talked about that too.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember. It's about speaking about whatever your vision is before you manifested it. Yeah. So in this part of the conversation, I told Olivia that I'm so grateful to be in grad school, that one of my professors is very supportive of what I'm doing as far as my LLC and a journey for health, and coaching. She helps me in a variety of ways. And Olivia was saying like how great that is that I have that level of support. And I was like, you know what? This is the first time I've talked about a journey full of health in a professional environment in this way. You know, I might mention it on the front end of an interview just so they know I tend to have clients here and there. But it's an active part of this process. Like, my peers know about it. As I get to know classmates, they know about it. Right. My professors know about it. It's literally like, you know, when people have husbands and wives and jobs, it's that real. And it's never been that. It's like a distant cousin, like Cousin It, you know what I'm saying, pop up every now and again. That's how it's been in the past, whereas now it's like, this is an active part of my life and it's real. And Olivia shared some of her deep, deep dreams with me as a result of that. And she doesn't really talk about that much. And I was like, you know, Liv, you get to this, well, I'm saying this to you guys. You get to a point where it's so real and valid, whether you're actively doing it or not, that it comes with you everywhere. And you get the courage to speak it into existence. At this point, I've been talking like I have 50 clients, and I don't have 50 clients, but I'm a coach. And I'm solid. I am confident in being a coach. I'm confident in my ability. I'm so confident that I had to dig deep to figure out why I'm a good coach. And then I was able to identify so many things that, like, hey, I've been doing this my whole life. It's literally a part of who I am. But anyway, all this just to say, speak it into existence. Yeah. Especially when you're in good company, especially when you're around people that will help sow that seed. I wouldn't say this if we weren't on camera, but I'm going to pray for the manifestation of Liv's production company. I'm going to pray for her to finish law school. I'm going to pray for her intersection of both law school and communications, however that happens.
Don't know what that's going to look like in the end, but it's going to happen.
Yeah. And I don't know where I'm going to end up with a journey full of health. I don't know where these videos are going to go. Right now, I get like 5 views a video, and I'm grateful for that, but I'm still sowing this seed. I'm still sharing this message, and it has to work, even if it's for the one person that tends to comment on my videos. If
you reach one, you have reached the masses.
Right. And if I'm meant to reach the masses, or 1,000 people, or 100 people, or 50 people, I'm going to do what God told me to do.
Yep, that's what he told you to do, so you do it.
Mm-hmm. And a part of reaching that point is by speaking it.
Yep. And you said a part of doing, this is what you said earlier.
Okay.
And this goes right back into when we do things for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So when you got to put in the work regardless, because God told you to do it. Like, you have to.
You want me to say it?
I want to get it out.
Okay.
I want to get it out, and then you
take your time.
You have to. Go ahead and say it, because I'm just lost here. But you know you're acting for God when you are doing it faithfully. You have no idea where it's going to end up, but you know God told you to do it. That's faith. So you have to act within faith when God tells you to do something.
Amen. So what Liv is talking about is I did this whole analogy of, like, when you are fulfilling your purpose, when God is calling you to do something, or the universe or source, whatever you believe, it's big. And at times you don't know where it's going. You don't know how. You just know you got to do it. Right? And that's very different from it being more fleshly, more about you. You know, the things we tend to be motivated by when it's about you is fame, money, power. And you're never as overwhelmed when that's the primary focus, because it's a clear path. You can always keep your mind on that dollar sign, right? Yes, there will be seasons of manifestation and new levels, and you know, it's similar patterns, but it will never be so all-encompassing that you're driving over your friend's house and you just got all this chitter-chatter going on about how to achieve it, but you don't know how. You just know you got to take this next step. You won't be posting a YouTube video with all of this doubt and fear, but you know you just got to do it. It's just a part of that process.
Right.
You won't fear talking, like, people feel very comfortable talking about manifestation of, like, their earthly desires. Oh, I'm going to be a pro basketball player, or, you know what I'm saying? But come to find out, their true purpose is to communicate through music, and you have no idea that they're a pianist. That's a prime example. You know, the thing that you fear the most that's pretty dear to you is kind of often the thing that God is calling you to do. And when you courageously present that and manifest that to other people, that is like the ultimate honor, and that's also how you do your service and share the story He's creating you to share.
Yeah, and you know what we also find our purpose in? The things that are most challenging in our lives.
Absolutely.
And we just want Him to eliminate.
Yeah.
That is where you find purpose as well.
Absolutely. And I think I've been thinking about, you know, I really want to narrow the focus of a journey for health, and I will when the time comes. And I'm like, you know, I'm about mental health here and fitness here, and y'all might not know it yet. They all intercept, and they will all intercept when I can present that to you. Mm-hmm. But I spend a whole heck of a lot of time talking about men and fuck boys, and that's a part of my story. Right? You know, coming from this insecurity, coming through chasing after men, coming through being a late bloomer, coming through having this curvaceous body and didn't know what to do with it and all of the male gaze it attracts, coming through people presenting themselves as one thing, men presenting themselves as one thing, and really being a whole nother. And that has been a block, an obstacle within my path, my journey, to get me from there to talking to you all. And I just want that to be one less thing women worry about, because in most of my conversations with women, it's always at some point about a man. So that's why it's so much about fuckboys, and that's how it relates to mental health. Because your relationship status and who you give and exchange energy from affects you holistically, physically. That little, you know, chakra can get thrown off. You can get some physical illnesses down there. Some things can get thrown off down there. Mentally, emotionally, that self-esteem, that mindset, your focus, your energy. Mm-hmm. You know, when I had relationship issues, I could not function fully. And I definitely couldn't be great and give you guys good energy. We can go back to some of my older YouTube videos. I was just trying. I was so depressed and just trying. And one of the major sources of my depression, yes, I was in early recovery, but it was my relationship. It wasn't in a good place. So men and our need to have this nurturing relationship and have that male balance in our lives, that masculine energy in our lives, can really get a woman off course. That's why I'm a firm advocate on doing that internal self-work and preparing for your king, because otherwise you're just getting in your own way. You're saying, hey, guy, I want to serve you, but I want this. I want to serve you, but I want this. So if you're not going to give me this, instead of serving you, I'm going to go get this. When you might have to take several steps within your purpose with God for your king to come. I want to equip you. I want to equip you for you to know when you're dealing with a fuck boy, when you're dealing with a good man, when you're dealing with a good boy, when you're dealing with a great man, when you're dealing with a king. I want to equip you to know what it looks like to be the counterpart of each of those. So you will know when you being a fuck girl, when you will know when you being a queen, or how to be a queen. Because that is a huge part of what you're here to as a woman. You're here to manifest your queendom. For real. So that king, or you preparing for that king. See, the thing about it is, and I'm trying not to take too long, I'm passionate about this. So me preparing for the wife and the mother I want to be is not any different from me preparing for the coach I want to be. I'm going to say that me preparing for the wife and mother I want to be is no different from me preparing for the coach I want to be. You know why? I wasn't given a dog darn about a journey full of health and coaching when I was in my flesh. But what I did care about is being a healthy mom. What I did care about is actually getting a husband. And it's through going through that treatment process for my eating disorder, recovery process afterwards, that I began to come back to a journey full of health. Seriously. And I had the skill sets to be this coach. But my motivation through treatment was my man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I wanted to be healthier, yes. But when it got really, really hard, I was tired of going through what we went through in our relationship. I was tired of what I was doing. And I wanted to be with him. And I wanted to have this family. I wanted to secure that. So, yes, it got me through. It wasn't my starting point, but it was like I can't go home and face him and just do the same thing. And I think that that's true for a lot of women, that we come into that force, that lioness, as well as that little like soft butterfly for that king.
Why we gotta go through all this for that?
You gotta talk to God. I ain't got no answer, Slave. I ain't got it. I'm sorry. You got anything else you want to add? This is the longest video I've ever had. It's about an hour.
Oh, yeah?
Hour of realness.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to post it just like this. No edits.
Only feels like we've been sitting up talking for 20 minutes.
I know. This is how we lose time.
Well, we did something great here for a whole hour, so. We were thinking about going out and kicking it, but I'm actually glad we did this. I think I prefer doing this than going out. Ain't nothing.
Really?
Yeah. Girl, I'm tired of seeing it. Well, I love Cleveland, but girl, bye. I see the same faces every time I go out, so this was a night well spent. And when you're done editing or whatever you're going to do, I want to copy this because I want to put it on my page.
Okay. I'm going to just upload it tonight. It'll take like 4 hours.
Okay. What?
My Wi-Fi is very slow.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Ladies, I just want you guys to know that, like, because I've been in some spaces. She already said I'm in Cleveland. We're in Cleveland. And, you know, women feel like they're in a lot of competition with each other. They feel like there's not much room here to grow professionally. Yeah. Which that's just a Cleveland energy. So if you're a Cleveland-based person, know that, like, there are people that can reciprocate your energy. There are people that can appreciate what you have to offer, and there not be competition. The love can be genuine. You guys can grow together. People that want you to give them authentic feedback and want to receive it, right? Because iron sharpens iron, and that's what you guys are witnessing, that this is possible with people in your city, no matter where you are, but especially when you're in Cleveland. I don't want you guys to fall into that negative mentality that it's like you versus everybody or you and your one friend versus everybody.
Right.
God will send you people. He will send your tribe to you piece by piece.
There's a whole village.
Amen.
In the city of Cleveland.
Amen. And so she and I are starting together, and I have a couple friends here and there, and we build each other up like this in different areas. But know that you can have this as well, that you don't have to be working solely alone. Although you might be the only friend on a particular, I'm the only coach in my crew. I don't even have, do I have a crew? Can I say that? No, if it's individuals, can it be a crew? Whatever. Anyway, this type of love is real. It's possible. Even at 25, 26. Probably younger. I mean, we knew each other since what? We was like
7th grade.
How old is that? That's 12.
11, 12.
Yeah. And some people I met in the past year. And they'll be on my YouTube eventually too. So yes, be encouraged. I want to send y'all all of the love. Thank y'all for bearing with me today. Now I had to really get it together and edit these videos. I'm not editing nothing. Upload these videos.
Raw.
Yes. I like I like the raw because with the way I am, I will edit it and edit it and edit it and remove my truth.
Yep.
So it takes a lot for me to just be able to have to put it out there.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm gonna upload them and I'm gonna figure out how to I'll just link them underneath the video so you can just track me through the day.
You're gonna start doing these live so people can really.
I would love to do it live, but no one comes because I don't have a following for that yet. You know, I probably have one person. It's coming. It is coming.
They're coming. They'll be here tomorrow.
I love her. All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye.